So, who wants to begin? What are you grateful for?
I'll go first.
Adrian.
I'm grateful, sincerely grateful. I was not able to be on Friday because a good friend's daughter was on the last flight out of Copenhagen. She has dual citizenship and can't, and has to go back and forth like every 5 years or whatever. She has to spend some time in Denmark. So she was the last flight out,
Oh,
and sadly, it went into DC.
oh,
And DC closed their airports until 7 o'clock at 7 p.m. And she was in the, so she's this 20-year-old girl freaking out because
oh,
she's trying to get home to Atlanta.
Right.
oh,
Um, and I am grateful that she made it home and all is
oh.
well, and that people took care of her and she did it.
We
Okay.
did it.
Yeah.
Well, she had angels supporting her, and
Mhm.
you know, yes. And Alexandra actually is our niece, so we're very grateful that she's back home from Denmark. So
Yeah.
thank you, Adria.
Oh.
And what are you grateful for, Miss Judy?
Well, I'm grateful to finally be here. I couldn't get in last week. I don't know what happened. I just couldn't get in. And this time I brought my cell phone along with me because I figured maybe I'll try the cell, which I didn't do last week. But anyway, I'm grateful to be here with everybody. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm grateful to see you, RD, looking so bright, very bright. And I've been thinking about everybody, and particularly in the moonlight has been beautiful here because it's been so
Mm,
cold. So it's very nice. And um, yeah, I'm grateful to just be here and have survived the week.
yes, we
Survived the week.
all survived the week. We're grateful we
Yeah.
all survived the week.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Miss Linda Boney, what are you grateful for this morning?
Good morning, everybody. I'm grateful to be here with everyone. And I'm grateful I sang really well yesterday and everything was flawless at church. I'm so happy.
Ah,
It was really nice, start to finish. The songs were beautiful. I didn't make any mistakes, so I was happy.
uh, well, actually, it's always nice to go to church. Talk about a ritual.
Yes, in
Just
person.
doing something weekly,
Yes.
but also to kind of uplift
Mhm.
our spirits. So I think that's really very nice.
Yeah.
Uplifts
And
the chi. Uplifts the
absolutely
chi.
uplifts the chi. And Miss Leticia, what are you
Hmm.
grateful for?
Good morning, everyone. I'm
Morning.
grateful to be here. I am grateful that we decluttered a little bit yesterday, so that's good. It's always good to move the chi, and that's it. I'm grateful to be safe. It's a great day here, but very neutral, so it will be good. So it's a
Yes,
BKTO day.
the BKTO day. Absolutely, absolutely.
Hmm.
And Miss Ann Beth, what are you grateful for? You're home now, settled home.
I am home with that crazy plant behind me. Um, it's getting too tall for its own good, so I don't know what to do with it. I am grateful for. I'm grateful knowing that you're all here, whether I'm here or not, and I'm grateful that I had a full day with my mother and my cousin, and it was quite enjoyable. And I still have bags to unpack of food and all sorts of things from that trip. And and grateful for the good resolution that's going to happen. I don't know how, but it'll happen. I hit a curb with my rental car and cracked the bottom of the fender. Yeah. So things up here are different. They have islands in the middle of nowhere and they're not
That's right.
painted. And there are no traffic lights, no street lights. So it'll be fine. And I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. Well, most important is that you're okay. And yes,
Yes.
so in a way that could be a metaphor. There are a lot of obstacles that we don't see. I mean, here in Manhattan, they put in all these new inner, curbs that is not clear, clearly marked.
That's right. That's right.
It's not easy, but in a way that could be a metaphor of where we are. There are a lot of obstacles here. We just have to kind of maneuver. We're gonna bump our toes, bump our knees, and we
Right.
fall. We'll have to pick ourselves up and just continue going, and just be grateful we're okay. I think
Yeah.
that's the metaphor.
And I have to say, my experience in the city, which I love, and I'm a city girl, this time was not as it has been, and I was happy to come back up here as much as I dislike it because there are so few people. I don't know. I just had a different feeling this time, maybe because of the hysteria and all that. But I was glad to come home to relative quiet.
Yes, and nature. I have to say,
And nature, yes, thank you. Nature.
I'll tell you, I think that's one thing that Heather and I truly miss. We truly miss nature. And yes, we have an opportunity to go outside, go to the, around the block or go to the backyard, but still it's not the same as where some of you are. Anyway, and Miss Rita Maida, what are you grateful for this morning?
Good morning, everyone. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. I'm just struggling this last week. That's why I wasn't online.
Hmm.
And just so I'm just hurting. I don't know. So I'm not sure what I'm grateful for right now.
That's okay.
But I saw your email about the Wednesday, the new moon. And so maybe if you can talk about it, you said you'll do it either today or tomorrow, but tomorrow I have class. So maybe if you can talk about it today.
I will definitely do that. I will definitely do that. Yes. And Miss Lee, what are you grateful for?
Morning.
Morning.
And Beth, that just made me smile what you said about like when you went back and you sort of had a peace of mind. You felt good about going back to a place that maybe you've been struggling with. And I really feel that, during really difficult times, right, when we don't see what's right in front of us since we leave a little bit and come back and just have that great appreciation. But at least it just made me feel good for you. I'm grateful that I still have really good health at the moment. And then also it jumped into my mind. Today is my kind of my longest best friend's birthday. We met when I was 5. So I just feel grateful for her in my life. She moved down to Florida a couple of years ago from Michigan, and she's actually the one I mentioned a couple of weeks ago. She actually was positive for COVID, but she's doing better, and everything. It was very mild. So I'm just grateful that she's healthy or becoming healthy, and that today is her birthday.
Nice.
I will be calling her later.
That's great. And Mr. Johan, what are you grateful for? On Happy Monday.
Hello,
Hello, everybody. I'm grateful for all of you first. And then I'm grateful I had a story which really slipped through last week because we had other discussions. I went to church last Thursday to bring some recordings from music to the pastor who, he puts it together to a virtual service. You saw this beautiful blue light from the photo. I was there. And when I left church, I saw opposite to the church, an office had opened free Corona quick tests. And I thought, well, there was nobody waiting. So I took advantage of the situation and I got a negative test. So this doesn't mean anything. This is a moment, but it made me happy because I thought you did, as to this time, you did everything good to avoid,
Absolutely.
And then I'm very grateful for having long walks in the city. And for me, it's the opposite to Amleth. I really enjoy being in a city without people. This is so this is extraordinary for me to see Berlin like a village. Nobody's on the street. Sometimes at the night when I go out, I don't meet people for 10 minutes. I stand in the center of a crossing road
Mm-hmm.
and I'm waiting for cars like 5 minutes. So this is a special side on my town, and I enjoy.
Yes.
You know, I really enjoy that.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you. And when the air clears, we're all going to fly to Berlin and you can give us a tour because there's magnificent architectural highlights there. New things are happening in Berlin. And I have never been there. I just know it'll be a wonderful. So we'll all get on our first class plane and we'll come visit you.
That's nice.
Can't wait.
And Miss Rita Huber, what are you grateful for this morning?
Good morning, everybody. Good to see you. I'm so grateful to be here with all of you and to see all of your smiling faces, and it just cheers me up. So that start is a great start to my day. And I'm grateful that the weather this year in New York isn't too cold. So I can do my qigong outside in the driveway in the afternoon.
Oh, nice.
And that really helps. It just feels different doing it outside than doing it in the living room. So
Absolutely. Being out in nature really makes a
yes.
talk about the feng shui. Being
Mhm.
outside with nature is really, rejuvenating for the soul and for the spirit. Absolutely. And Miss Reverend Barbara.
Good morning, everyone. Well, uh, I'm grateful for my courage.
Mm.
In this month, there are two things. One is my mother's birthday, and she passed away. She made her transition in September. So I'm grateful for the courage that I had to find her because she was missing for a while. We found her, and we had a year and a half with her, spent time with her, because she had advanced Alzheimer's and she was in a facility. So we had a wonderful time with her before she made her transition. And so I'm going to celebrate her birthday this month. The other thing is that this month I will be in Virginia Beach for a year, and
Wow.
it really doesn't seem like a year. So I'm grateful for the courage that I had to step forward and make the move because for 71 years I've lived in New York.
71 years.
Well, I'm 73.
Okay.
And for 30 years, I lived in the same apartment. And I just decided to step out there and create a new life for myself. So I'm grateful for the courage that I did that. And my courage is going to take me to a next step.
That is
And
correct.
that is to get a tiny house off the grid, my own water system, my own solar panels. Hopefully it will be in a tiny home community or eco village, but that's going to be my next step. So looking at my life and realizing how courageous I've been, I'm not going to stop now. I will continue.
Very inspirational. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm just grateful for all of you having the commitment of staying together. And it was, I have to say, a bit tumultuous last week, I think, for everybody on a lot of different levels. And so that's, I don't know whether you had time to take a look at that interview with the Dalai Lama with Dan Harris, but if you do, please take a look at it. But I want to share some things from that video because I feel that is the intention of the bells. And so, I just want to kind of reiterate, this is a new year. We've been birthed. We're now almost going to be a year old in a couple months. I can't
Wow.
believe it when you think about it. And we have gone through our temper tantrums and all of the things. And also, talk about our group. We're very sensitive to chi. The chi of each one of us. We're supporting each other, but also the chi of the world and how it's affecting us. And so these are the types of, these are the notes that I took from the video. It's only a 12-minute video, but it's very, to me, it's very profound. But I think it also kind of creates a foundation of, why did I create the bells? And of course, one reason is for me to get out of bed every morning. But actually, it's an interesting, Reverend Barbara, she brings up courage. And that was the one thing that the Dalai Lama says is about courage. And he says, we will fail. But when we fail, we must try, 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 and continue and have a determination. And so, yes, we may have failed in certain aspects of how we relate to each other or how we react, but we need to try, and try with an open heart, of course. And his main message was about meditation. So here's Dan Harris. He's the usual, newscaster. And okay, Mr. Dalai Lama, and basically he's interviewing the Dalai Lama regarding the COVID, the politics of the world, and how do we handle ourselves. And he said meditation. And he says, please, even if you can do meditation for a second, 5 seconds, 30 seconds, even a minute. And by doing meditation, and he says, when you do meditation, try not to focus on the sensory self. Be on the non-sensory self to really try to reveal the deeper meaning of life. And yes, physiologically, we'll calm our minds, we'll calm our hearts. But, psychologically, maybe he didn't say that, but maybe I'm saying that. But it's really trying to connect to our hearts, connecting to the true meaning of what is the purpose of where we are. And then the other profound I felt was the Dalai Lama says, be altruistic. And I looked up the definition of altruism. It's about being selfless concern for others. So he says, yes, you must take care of yourself. You must take care of your health during this COVID. I mean, he's in lockdown, in Dharamsala in India. And, of course, the first images you see the monks wearing the mask, not properly. But he feels very important that yes, we need to take good care of ourselves, but also of altruism, and I think concern for others, and also compassion, and actually towards the end of the interview, you'll see the two newscasters kind of having a little summary about what the Dalai Lama was really talking about, and Dan Harris says, well, it's really about compassion, and the definition of compassion is about having sympathy and concerns of sufferings of others. And how do you help relieve those sufferings of others? So a deep compassion. And Dan Harris was mentioning, well, there are many, many forms of compassion meditations. And one of the compassion meditations that he uh, observed from the Dalai Lama was called the Tonglen compassion meditation. And it's very simple. The Tonglen is simply a breathing exercise, which we all do. We all breathe. Sometimes we forget to breathe, but we need to breathe. But of course, it's breathing with the intention. The intention of the Tonglen, you breathe in the sufferings, and then you breathe out the compassions. And even Dan Harris said, that was a little bit, he said, cheesy. It was a little bit, he wasn't quite sure about that particular meditation. And, but, and even for myself, I was thinking about that. I don't know. Do I want to breathe in suffering? But yes, I do want to breathe out compassion. But, each one of us will have to, it's only within yourself what resonates for you. But, it's just the concept of meditation. And anyway, but I just felt I kind of, after our our little bit of a turmoil, not a little bit, but it was a big turmoil last week. And some of you were on the call, some of you were not on the call, but still reverberated. We are a microcosm of the macrocosm of the world. And even though there might be, how many of us? Three, six, seven, eight, nine. There's 11 of us here, but we are still a microcosm of what's happening out in the real world. The politics, the chi energy, the world, climate change, all of those things. And so that's why I actually kind of like, needed to address for myself as well as for all of us, what is the intention of the bells? And that's what I remembered this video. And so I went back to this video and I rewatched it several times actually. I said, I think this is the foundation. I really felt, I have to say, I did mention last week about the possibility I was going to write some guidelines or, what are the boundaries, for the bells. And I felt a little bit uncomfortable about doing that. I didn't feel like writing anything. I have not a Facebook page. I mean, this is something which is organic, but at the same time, we are evolving. And talk about, we are evolving in the age of Aquarius. This is a whole new paradigm. And so for me, I look toward the Dalai Lama. I mean, I respect him. He's been going through a lot of trauma in his life, and actually they had a little brief summary of the Dalai Lama and said, and actually that was one of Dan Harris. He said, how do you deal with the Chinese? The Chinese ousted you when you were young. You were forced out of your country in exile, but somehow you still maintain a positive approach toward the Chinese and yes, on one level they could be considered evil because they have literally basically, expunged his country, so to speak. They have changed everything about his country. And his comment was about, well, it's about change. And yes, the Chinese have their ways of looking at the world and and it's very, interesting to watch the words that he chooses. So even the words that we choose have to be more mindful, more conscious. And so I was observing that aspect. There's so many layers that we can, watch this, 12-minute interview. But anyway, but essentially he said it's about change. And, ultimately it will change. It's over, could be centuries, could be years, whatever it might be, but there'll always be change. Which therefore he's actually saying there's hope. There's always hope. And we can't change the past. Yes, those tragedies, those sufferings that he's felt or gone through. We're going through tragedies and sufferings ourselves. How do we change that? And it's just being positive, just staying positive as much as positive. And then also it's very interesting. So the other comment was, how about you, Dalai Lama? You never met Trump. You chose not to meet Trump. And he said, and Dan Harris says, what would you say to the president? And to me, it was very interesting to listen to his response. And his response essentially was, well, I'm very saddened about how you see the world. You see the world as very small, and I would just hope, that you would, open up. And that was his response. Nothing more than that. And I thought that was a very interesting, elegant, and I'm sure they edited, this interview, of course. I'm sure there's much more to it. But, it was interesting to see what his response was. He chose not to meet, the president in the United States. However, he was asked the question, what would he say to him? And so that was really interesting to just kind of observe his chi, observe the response, observe the words that he chose. And for me, I said, this is what I want for the bells. Yes, I don't want politics to be included as a part of our conversations, but it is going to be part of our conversations. This is the chi of where we are at this moment of history. So, we have to acknowledge that. But on the other hand, I think we can create an understanding about, where we stand. And, our group is to stand for the lighthouse. And, we are going to shine, hope and harmony and peace and love and compassion and smiles and joy. So, that to me, that is the intention of the bells. So, anyway, um, so if you have
Thank
some
you.
time, take your time, that video. And this was the interview with the Dalai Lama was about 7 months ago. So it's current. It's not like the Dalai Lama, for years ago. I mean, this is current. And I think this is, applicable to where we are now. And actually, I really appreciate it, seeing that interview. And it was on, I think it was on, major, CBS. It's not, a little back station somewhere. This is a major news coverage. And of course, the Dalai Lama is a
Okay.
very important figure. Talk about he is a lighthouse, So anyway, on that point,
Thank you.
I'll just throw it out to all of you and, see what your thoughts are. And
Well, that's beautiful. There's he also was interviewed. I don't know how long ago it was, but there's a video. It's called 10 Questions for the Dalai Lama.
uh-huh.
And from what you're describing, he's the same person now that he was when I saw that video.
Yes.
It's about forgiveness,
Mm-hmm.
love and forgiveness. And he lives all of that: love, kindness, compassion. He doesn't just talk it, he lives it. And when he meets people, it's not one man to another, not one woman to, it's one human being to another. And he embraces that person's humanity. And from that point, that's how he interacts with people. And it's beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. That was just so beautiful. I don't know about that. Breathing in. Well, I don't think I would do that. I'd breathe in love, breathe out peace. Breathe in love, breathe out peace. Thank you for sharing that. That's very beautiful.
No,
But I don't know, how can I get to see that interview?
oh, I sent
Is
the
it
link.
posted somewhere?
Oh, I sent that.
The
I sent the link.
You sent the link. Okay. You sent it. Okay.
Zoom.
Okay. I'll check my email. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Any other comments or thoughts?
Yes.
Please.
I watched it. It's absolutely wonderful. Speaking of compassion, and it's just one thing I'm going to say is compassion is a skill.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I would never have thought of it as a skill, but that's what the breathing exercise is about. But I think we could probably come up with a breathing exercise that is not exactly as he says, because breathing in, as he says, doesn't resonate with me either.
Right.
And another thing, I think it was more of a scientific perspective, was find out not what's wrong with someone, but what's right about someone. And speaking of courage, he said, without losing courage, sadness should transform determination.
Right.
More suffering, more determination.
Yes.
And we should not feel helpless, because helplessness is failure.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
When I was meditating across the street, I believe, I'm not sure, but I believe, I forgot his name. Who?
Oh, Manan from Nepal.
No, yes. I believe he was talking about breathing in golden light and breathing out the ashes. And I really like that meditation.
Yeah, there's so many different forms of meditation, but you need to find what that resonates for you.
Yeah.
So, but I think the bottom line is just breathing, just breathing with intention, whatever that might be. So, Miss Leticia.
It's actually in response to Rita, or thinking of Rita Meta's question. Rita, I don't know if RD answered the question so that you can prepare for Wednesday. You had this
Right.
preoccupation.
Yes, actually, I was going to do that. Thank you for reminding me. So let me do that before we go into our little meditation. Thank you for the little bell.
Sorry,
So,
RD. You know I love you.
I know. So, so Wednesday is the peak of the new moon. So talk about new beginnings. It's a new year, and I thought it might be nice to do the word for the year. And so, actually, this kind of came out from a tea between Lee and Adrian and Heather, um, about doing a little ritual with our word. So on Wednesday, I invite all of you to bring a cup of tea or a glass of water or an orange. But the thinking is that we're going to take this word, we'll share our word, and breathe this word into the tea, or breathe the word
Ah.
into the orange, or breathe the word into your cereal. And then we're going to just maybe ring the bell and just this will be like a little simple blessing of the word, and that'll be like our. So I will also do that in an email to kind of describe that, but that's just a little something. It doesn't have to be this long thing, and whatever. And but just kind of do something physical to make it transcendental. And so that's the intention for Wednesday. Judy.
Um, can I add, I don't know if I could add something to that, but I guess what I would like to, everybody has their tea, their bowl of cereal. I would like to put it all together, put all those things, the bowl of cereal, the tea, put it together in one bowl. And so we have all the intentions that we can breathe out.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
don't know if that makes sense.
yeah. Well, I think, well, I feel as though it'll come to me. We'll create it all together.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
maybe all of you can think about, maybe light a candle, or maybe have some essential oils in the background. Um, Unfortunately, I would love to have music in the background, but that gets a little bit too messy on the Zoom, so no other music. Unless Jochen wants to sing, that's okay. But anyway, no, but my point is, let's make it a sacred moment on the new moon. And
Yes.
whatever you want to create together, and maybe you can share, what you're contributing. Say, maybe you have a candle in the background, or maybe you have aromatherapy, so we can all feel that chi energy of this wonderful ritual. So, um, and just on a closing note, I really want our bells so we can truly express ourselves. And yes, we do have different viewpoints, different positions, and that's where we are. But I don't want anybody to feel judged. I don't want anybody to feel, disempowered, by being here, or afraid to come back because, I mean, the intention is this is a very safe space, and is a very special place. And in a way, we are the microcosm of what the outer world is. So if we can do it ourselves, therefore, this is our determination, our courage, and our light to show to the world. If we can do it, then the world can do it. So, this is like going back to, Professor Lin Yun. We start at the bedroom. This is our bedroom. This is our sacred cave. And if all of us together in our sacred cave can shine the light from within ourselves, then that will literally radiate to the world, because we are the world. We are literally the world. And I just don't want to feel people to feel a little bit, oh my gosh, I don't feel like saying that, or I feel a little bit, I just don't want to have that feeling. I just don't want to have that feeling. I think this is a very special place for us that we've created. And I think this is an evolution. And this is for us to grow also. We are going through growing pains, right? So, think of it that way. We were birthed in April. April was the beginning. So, Adria, I could see a little something?
I just want to say though that as an advocate for people all my lives, I won't allow bullying to take place.
Mhm.
And I think kindness needs to be the order of business.
Absolutely. I mean, and actually, when I say Om Mani Padme Om, the root of it is about compassion and kindness. So that's the root of those words. So yes, and so yes. And Yokin, did you want to say something before we go to meditation? I said no. Okay. Anyway, so we have 3 minutes left. So I just felt it important. And let's do the Dalai Lama and have at least our 3 minutes. So, so I'm going to mute everybody and just relax. Of course, we can continue our conversations tomorrow. Put your feet flat on the floor. Breathe and relax. And I'm just going to ring the bells just once for the bells of hope. And just breathing in and breathing out. And just visualize. Visualize this beautiful golden light of energy coming from the universe, gently coursing through the central channel of our bodies into our hearts, the lower dantian, going down to the base of our chair, deep, 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 deep down, connecting to Mother Earth, heaven, humanity, and earth. Breathe and relax. And I'm going to close our time together with the ringing of the bells. Om Mani Padme Om. 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 The 6 true words welcoming compassion, kindness, good health, and smiles. And gently, gently rub your palms together. Happy Monday. It's the 11th of January, 2021. And we're sending you much love. And thank you so much for being a part of the bells. Have a beautiful day. It's a chilly day here in Manhattan, but keep warm. Keep warm, exactly. Give a good hug for yourself. Get a blanket, have a cup of tea, and just BKTO. We love you very much.
Divine blessings to all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Blessings
Thank you
to
so much.
everyone.
Appreciate it.
Mwah.
Yes.